What would I do if I didn't have you to tuck me in at night? What would I say to God when I pray if I didn't have you showing me what to do? You know how much I love you, Mom. Someday I'll fly away and I'll travel the world and reach for the stars. But I'll have you in my heart, you will never be far. 'Cause all that you are shines through in who I am. How would I know when it's safe to go across the street if you didn't teach me? How would I make my hair in a braid if I didn't have you showing me what to do? You know how much I love you, Mom. Someday I'll fly away and I'll travel the world and reach for the stars. But I'll have you in my heart, you will never be far. 'Cause all that you are shines through in who I am.
Hi guys, I'm reading a letter that I wrote to my mom. Yeah. Dear Mama, I want to share a few things that make me feel special. You always make me laugh by having dance parties in the kitchen. When you snuggle with me on the couch, you always make me feel so safe. Instead of saying goodnight, we say lodi-dodi to each other. It's our special way of saying we love each other and good night. You always teach me to be strong and confident. You make me feel very special when you lay with me and pray with me at night. Thank you for being a super mama, and happy Mother's Day.
I could live to be 101 and never meet anyone half as fun as you. It's true. Someday I'll fly away and I'll travel the world and reach for the stars. But I'll have you in my heart, you will never be far. 'Cause all that you are shines through in who I am. Oh, thank you, Mom, for making me who I am.
Great job, you guys. Big thank you to Grace and Naomi Getz for that. Great job, you guys. Thank you.
I tell you, man, my good friend Alan, this is his girls. He has 5 daughters, and he was praying for a boy all these years. I'm glad it didn't happen. And the 2 of the sisters are at the Orion campus singing the same song right now, too. So they've got this amazing, gifted family. Isn't that fun? So, hey, we really do want to say Happy Mother's Day to you. So, mothers, would you just stand up and let us appreciate you? We want to clap for you, and we have a gift for you, girl. Come on out. So stand up so we can find you. Come on, give them a big round of applause, all the moms.
Yeah, that extra encouragement Mark had to give a big round of applause. It's pretty indicative of our lives, right, Mom? I'm just saying, right? We do want to celebrate you today. I'm a mom. I like getting celebrated, and we are
Yes, you do.
I do. And we are so thankful for you, as are your families, and we are excited about celebrating each and every one of you today. We do know that today may not be a great day for you. Depending on where you are in your life, Mother's Day may represent grief or loss. And we just want to take a second to tell you that our hearts are with you today, And we just pray that you would feel God's comfort and peace truly, truly today.
Yeah, that is true. Our journeys are so different, and it's such a winding road. So we're so glad you're here. Glad you came, and especially for those of you who may be here for a very first time, welcome. It's a real honor and privilege to have you here with us. Here's something I noticed about moms, though. When there's a lot of moms, there's a lot of kids. You ever notice that? So we got kids all over the place here. And one of the things that we like to celebrate, and I just want to say thank you for all of you that are part of Kensington that provide such an amazing program for our kids called K-Kids in the other wing. And here's something that we do every year at Kensington in the summer. Our volunteer team works 9 months providing this amazing program. And then in the summer, we like to give them a break. We call it Stand in the Gap. And so I would love to invite some of us in this room who don't do that normally, but would be willing to maybe do one time a month or a couple times a month during the summer, just to give these folks a break so that when September comes, they can crank again for 9 months. So if you would be interested in helping our team out, go to the K-Kids check-in desk just down that side of the lobby, and they will love on you if you do that. We would really could use your help in that. So.
Also, quickly, if you've been here before, you've heard us talking about our Smash retreat. It's our women's retreat. It's going to be next weekend. And just want you to know registration is still open, so it's not too late to jump in on that party. Okay.
And this is, I'll just say this, it's amazing. This is, if you don't know anything about it, it's going to be 800 to 1,000 women at an amazing camp. Amazing speaking team. The whole it's a life-changing, fun, restful, exhilarating weekend. So do take advantage of it if you haven't had a chance already. Hey, there's just a couple things I want to bundle in real quick that are kind of exciting that are happening here. Our Clinton Township campus is having its grand opening right now as we're sitting here. Yeah, give them a big hand. If you don't know what that means, this is a portable campus like Clarkston has been for 10 years, and they are moving into a brand new facility. It's beautiful. It's right on the corner of M59 and Gratiot. It's an amazing location, and there are going to be thousands of people there. So anyway, just wanted you to know that's happening. Here's something else that happens at Clinton and all the campuses when I visit. What we're trying to create at the Kensington campuses is an atmosphere when people walk onto this property, and I hope you guys felt this. I hope you felt that there is a warmth and an excitement about you being here, and that it's clear, you kind of know where to go, you have a sense that my kids are going to be safe and so forth. And that team, called our First Impressions team, does an amazing job. Here's a statistic I just want you to know if you don't know this. There's been a lot of research on why people don't go to church, a lot of research on why people will come and make a decision to stay at a church. And this has been proven that most people, over 90% of people, make a decision if they're visiting, if they will come back again in the first, get this, 11 minutes. So like when I'm speaking, it doesn't really matter what I say. The music, everything else. Actually, people make their decision on the vibe and the personality and the love and the authenticity they feel when they walk into this place. And so I just wanted to celebrate our team that does that every week and encourage any of you that you would like to be part of that. I mean, it's so important, right? First 11 minutes. If you'd like to be part of that, stop at our starting point table and be part of that team that creates a place of family and excitement for visitors. All right? Just wanted to throw that out to you. Next weekend, we're going to be starting a new series, and it's taking a look at these really critical points in our life journey, these defining moments. Watch this quick trailer. That's a powerful video, maybe more for me than you, but those are actually people, and, well, obviously they're people, but they're holding up real pictures of real defining moments for them, and I happen to know a lot of them. And if we did that with you, you would have one or two moments in your life that you would say, that was the moment that defined the trajectory of my life. Am I right? You've got one or two of those in your life. So what we're going to do is take a series, and we've asked 4 of our lead teachers at the campuses in the Kensington movement to share their defining moment and base the service around that. Next weekend, Jeremiah Roy is going to be teaching here, but we're going to be talking about the defining moment of Andrew Kim, who is one of our teaching pastors at the Troy campus. It's an amazing story. Andrew, as a very young person, lost one of his parents, and his story of the struggle with that and how God met him in that journey is encouraging and powerful. So we would love to invite you to come back and be part of that series, okay? So that's a defining moment starting next weekend. And with that, we got one more thing. Yep, that's it.
So with that, it's my turn. We do want today to be a special day for you guys and you ladies, you mamas. And so we decided to bring in a special speaker just for you. Not that Jeremiah and Mark aren't amazing, but we have asked.
Because we really are.
Because they really are. We've asked Tara Olette to speak to you today. I know, right? See, I told you it was a really good idea. For those of you who.
Is that Tara's family? No, I'm just
Yes. For those of you who don't know Tara, she is one of our own here at Kensington, Clarkston. And she and her husband, Ryan, have 3 boys. She is a former principal and teacher. She and Ryan co-lead the marriage mentoring ministry here. And she is on a new journey of being a personal development or life coach. I have the privilege of calling Tara my friend, and I just wanted you to feel encouraged today, and that is what she does a really good job of. She is a great encourager and supporter of women, and she's the real deal. She lives what she's saying, and I think you're going to be encouraged and inspired by her today.
Tara, thanks so much for saying yes. We're so glad you're here. Hey, would you do me a favor? Go ahead and stand up and say hi to somebody around you. Be friendly. If you haven't had a chance to hug your mom, you might want to do that.
Mom, you are beautiful. You are so kind. You are the strongest woman that I know.
Mom, thank you so much for being such an amazing example of a godly wife, mother, and woman of God.
Yeah, and thanks for leaving a legacy of a crazy home, but one that really lived out the gospel of Jesus. Whether we're in the grocery store and you're inviting people over for dinner, our home was always open.
And thank you for including Vic and I, after we lost our parents, into this craziness of your family. And thank you for pouring your love and your legacy into us. We love you.
Honestly, I love you to infinity. Darling, you're my masterpiece, and no Pablo Picasso could capture the beauty I see.
Mom, you are the strongest person I have ever met, and you teach us the most important lessons.
Mom, you are very brave, and I just want to be like you when I grow up.
Mom, you're one of the most hardworking people I know. I know it's a lot to take care of 4 girls all the time, but somehow you do it. We just appreciate everything you do for us.
Mom, thank you for cheering me up sometimes when I get sad.
Mom, you are the strongest person that I know. I admire your courage and your strength and all the joy that you bring to everyone around us.
Honestly, I love you to infinity. Darling, you're my masterpiece, and no Pablo Picasso could capture the beauty I see.
funny because she always tickles us every direction. Mommy's really pretty.
Mom, you are everything I could ask for in a mom, and I truly respect how much you prioritize family first before everything else, and I'm truly blessed to have you in my life.
Mom, we love you, and you are a masterpiece.
Mom, I love you so much. You are a masterpiece.
Mom, you are a masterpiece.
Mom, you are truly a masterpiece.
Mom, you're a masterpiece. Mom, you're a masterpiece. We love you.
And honestly, I love you to infinity. Darling, you're my masterpiece. And no Pablo Picasso could capture the beauty I see. Honestly, I love you to infinity. Darling, you're my masterpiece. And no Pablo Picasso could capture the beauty I see.
Good morning and happy Mother's Day. Just in case I pass out, I have a soft landing. Just kidding. Yes. I got you in 11 minutes, right? I got you caught. Come back, come back. Oh man, I was asked to share my story of my how I'm a tough nut to crack and the stronghold that I had on my own life, and how Jesus has transformed and mobilized, not like this, but like this. And before I share how incredibly bullheaded I am, I would love for the ushers to come down and do the offering. And if you're a guest, hello, extra special hello. We're so happy you're here. And finances, that is one area that I was like this. And I look forward to hopefully remembering to share a little bit of that later on. So, it's we know that childhood impacts adulthood, which then impacts parenthood. And I would like to take you on a little journey of my childhood and young adulthood. And if you were here, for weeks and weeks, I would tell you how that's impacted my parenthood. But I just want to take you back to my childhood for a moment. My mom is a real life version of Wonder Woman. She raised 3 children all on her own. My oldest brother, Garrett, who's 4 years older than me, Jason, who's 2 years older, and then me, the baby of the family. My mom didn't ask to have the life that ended up coming about the time I was born. My dad, her husband, chose not to be a husband anymore. And he left early, about 3 or 4 months old, early in my life, early in their marriage, right? Hope that never happens, and it did happen to her. And at that time, her mom had also passed. About the same time I was being born was about the same time she was passing from cancer. And then it wasn't too much longer after that her dad died. So there were a lot of obstacles thrown in her way, and what she imagined was going to be the life that she was going to lead and raise her 3 kids. Those circumstances encouraged us and forced us to live at poverty level. She was working full-time, doing the very, very best she could, but our finances were scarce. And my dad chose not to be a dad, too. That continued to go on. And I love him. I love even what I got of him. He just is still doing the very best he can. So taking those situations and becoming a school-age child, those are called at-risk factors. Fatherless household, single parent, level of income, and then I did not perform well at all. I had no idea what was going on around me. Everyone else was learning but me. I was in this fog. And I don't know, well, we all know, I mean, the seasons that it's really, really foggy around here, and you can't even drive in it. And there's warnings about it. But nobody was really noticing and warning that, about my life, except for labeling, she's an at-risk student. And I felt it. And I was in this fog. I couldn't see. I couldn't understand what my teachers were trying to tell me. I did not think I was a masterpiece. I felt out of control. I felt broken. I wasn't enough. I mean, my dad doesn't want to be in my life. I must not be enough. And then I took that beautiful fog and shifted it into middle school. In elementary, I was kind and very talkative in class. That also was on my report card. The kindness shifted. Sassiness settled in. And I was in the principal's office probably as much as I was in a classroom. And if I wasn't having those experiences, I was calling my mom, the one who was working full-time, to do all that we had, and she would leave to pick me up because I was sick. Yeah, I was sick of the fog. I was out of control. And all the way from middle school into high school, that fog continued. And it got worse in different ways, right? And I started noticing that, okay, I've got this athletic ability. I couldn't really use it all the time in middle school because my grades weren't good enough. I couldn't even play. I couldn't even do what I was good at then. And then high school, even though I probably carried a very, very low GPA. Let's just say. My kids are in the room. No, I'm just kidding. They know my story. That's why theirs is in the room. So I was struggling as a student, and I would be able to play soccer. I got my act together. I got myself under control just enough to be able to play high school soccer. And that lifted the fog a little bit. And I would have done anything to be able to have the fog lifted when I was really good in art class, and I was good in gym, and I rocked out recess and lunchroom, stellar. I was valedictorian in those standards. So that would have been great, but that's not the reality. And so in high school, I continued to watch people excel. Then I was starting hearing my girlfriends and friends talk about college, and I'm like, ugh, that's not even attainable. I didn't even take the ACT SATs. It wasn't even in my wheelhouse, and nobody encouraged me to take them because I was even labeled that way. Just hope you marry a really good man. Well, by the way, I did. Thank you. Did you like that one? Yeah. So it was just, I felt like, what can I offer the world where I would have some control? And at this season, elementary, middle, high school, I didn't know God. I knew of him. And I know this is Mother's Day, and this is a special day, and I'm a mom to 3 beautiful boys, Ethan, Tyler, and Nolan. That's what I do as a mama. I'm going to recover. Woo. But I want to speak to everyone in the room that you matter and your relationships. And when you leave this building, you're going to impact those little cherishings of the world. Because I didn't know God, but there were examples of Jesus in my life before I even knew him. So looking back, I knew there was one. There was the God. But I didn't really understand how he loved and how he pursued. There was teachers who made a great impact on me. But there were not as many. I wish there was more. But there were principals, and one was Mr. Hugger, and he was this wonderful big man. So I'm envisioning myself, this was not all of elementary because unfortunately Mr. Hugger passed away of cancer. But he lived up to his name. He gave me so many hugs, lots of children hugs, but he noticed me. And I remember one hug in particular in the intersection of the hallway. I can just picture it in the office and the front door, and he just grounded me. And you know how important that is in the fog. He saw me. He knew me by name. That helped lift the fog a little bit. And then in high school, Mr. Don May, and he noticed me. His daughter was on the soccer team with me, and somehow, pay to play, right? To pay to play soccer, well, that's great. That's another obstacle in my life. But it was always taken care of. And one time, Mr. May pulled me out of my art classroom, and that's never good in my past. When a principal pulls me out of the classroom, that ain't for good reasons. And this time, it was for an exceptional fog lifting reason. And he offered to pay for me to play soccer over the summer with all the other girls. That was a Jesus moment. I know it. I didn't know him, but he knew me and he was pursuing me. And that lifted the fog a little bit more. And then I noticed everyone's talking about going off to college, and I said, oh my gosh, I love working with kids. My aunt and my uncle, my mom's sister and her husband, they were another pivotal. And actually, I'd go to church with them every so often when I would stay with them, and they were another example of the love of Jesus. And they taught me about pursuing, and my aunt was in the middle of going into her degree as a counselor, as an adult woman, and I was like, yeah, I think I like that. That's in my wheelhouse. I didn't talk like that then. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I think I want to do it. I'm just kidding. I wasn't like that either. But I was listening to her, and I thought, I think I can do that. And then I thought, wait, what? You have to do a lot of science and math? Oh, how am I going to do this? How am I going to get my life and my act under control so that I can attain something, my goals, something? And then teaching was right up there as well. Again, lots of sciences and maths and everythings and reading. And I don't even know, no joke, how many books I read at that point, cover to cover. I thought, how am I going to be able to do these things? And it was because of my uncle that he said, listen, go to Schoolcraft, live with us in Plymouth, and go to Schoolcraft and play soccer and get a little scholarship and just take that first step. And then that first step, pivotal moment. Like, oh, I know how to study. I actually do homework. I can play soccer at another level. That feels really good. Fog is lifting even more. Oh my gosh, I made the dean's list. Yeah, well, it's community college. I know. Okay. Oh, wow. I have a goal to get into Western, and it had nothing to do with Ryan already being there. I know it's an exceptional college for teaching. And my goal was to get onto Western, and I achieved that goal. I had that goal posted all around the house, the GPA that was needed. And I had never gotten that GPA. So this year was pivotal, and I was starting to realize that I have control over my life. I can do this. And then I went to Western, and I continued with the honors level of learning, and I was on associations, and I didn't just join professional fraternities, I led them, and I led more, and I was volunteering and anything with kids, and it was inner city in the Kalamazoo area, and I wanted that, I sought that out, and it was it fed my spirit like never before. And I was eating and breathing and sleeping, dreaming, talking, teaching. I was so excited. I had started to realize, like, oh, maybe there's some masterpiece in here. Maybe. And I just achieved every goal that I set. And then it was time to go on to getting a job. And I knew someone when I grew up in Rochester, Ryan and I did. And so I did some student teaching there. And then I knew West Bloomfield was hiring. There was a connection. And so I put my application in. I got a job interview right away. And I got hired on the spot. And he, was saying, like, I've never done this before. And maybe it was because I said, like, oh my gosh, I love teaching so much, I would do it for free. Maybe that's kind of why I got hired so quickly. And they're like, perfect job for you. And so teaching was it. I went into my first year there in West Bloomfield, and I was in love. Sorry, because I really was. He's like, so, you going to come home ever? I mean, I woke up, went to work. I think, I was there for 12, 13, 14 hours a day. I loved teaching. I poured everything into teaching. And then people were starting to notice, my boss and central office administration, and they're like, are you considering administration? I said, oh, no. I'm going to die in this classroom. I'm going to be an old crusty lady right here. The kids are going to love it. I'm not going anywhere. And, soon after, because I wanted that moment to be, I didn't want to leave where I had the kids right here in my own 4 classroom walls. I didn't want to have the distractions of administration. I wanted to love these children the way I needed to be loved as little Tara Shook, who felt dumb and insignificant. And and even though not every school I worked in had a lot of little Tara Shooks, and then I knew what it was like to be at the, high level. So I knew how to love them too. I couldn't leave that. And the other thing that rang is my mom, in my mind, is when my mom raised me. She raised me to believe I was a masterpiece. She raised me on the words, you are smart, you are beautiful, and you are capable. And I didn't believe any of it. But she kept saying it again and again. And you know what is even more superhero-like about that? My mom never heard those words growing up. Never. She heard, who do you think you are? And my mom is smart. She is stunning. And she is not just capable. She would take over this world if she knew her masterpiece, if she knew how she was created in God's image. She was abused. She was told the complete opposite. You are nothing. And on and on. But she raised us to believe the opposite. And so when I was teaching, I didn't want the other stuff, the distractions into administration. I wanted that those children would know their worth and their potential, not just their mathematician brain or their writing brain. Not in my room, not ever. And you know what? I want the child who's in the office. Bring him to me. I want the child who's the hardest to handle. Bring him to me. I never worried about my list of who I got because I knew that God was giving me exactly the kids that I needed to have, that we needed to be in their lives together. I loved teaching. And when people were speaking truth into me about, well, maybe administration, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. And I'd have the pile of books at night by my bed, and I'd be reading. Ryan's like, seriously, do other teachers read like How to Conquer the World of Education like you do? That was my book. I'm like, I'm sure they do. And it was just the writing was on the wall that I was starting to see things not just for the 25, 30 kids in front of me, but an entire building or an entire mindset in education. That made sense based on my background. I had both sides. I knew what kids needed. And so Ryan and I, we were, I would say, baby Christians at that time in this part of my story. And we prayed and we said, let's go to God with this. Is this time for me? And so we prayed in the kitchen and we said, God, if this is meant to be, because we had 3 young children at the time. Ethan was going into 4th grade, Tyler was going to go into 2nd grade, and Nolan preschool. That's young. But there was a burning. And we said, if it's meant to be. So it was meant to be. Because the districts we wanted the openings to be in, we didn't want to go anywhere. We wanted to have that family balance. And that was the goal. And I went up into the office, turned on the computer, looked at what was available, and there were openings in every spot we desired. Long story short, got the job. So I was hired here in Clarkston as an elementary principal. And the exact building I wanted to work in was the building that had more cherishing in it than the other buildings. And it was perfect. Because while interviewing, they saw something in me, and I was giving something out that and all the other, this is the way we are in education, but I know what's here. And I knew where I wanted to serve. And I had the pleasure of serving in a building that was still filled, I don't know because I'm not there right now, but was filled with the best teachers who love the whole child, who don't just teach to the left side of the brain and this is all that's valued, or the right side, the entire child, because we wouldn't tolerate anything else. And we wanted the walls to speak. This was not an at-risk school. This is a leadership school. This school is filled with capable people. I don't care what the backstory is. I don't care what kind of neighborhood they come from. They are smart, beautiful, and capable. And we will tell them nothing less. And I would be able to take that thought I had where I had my own classroom, and I would say, well, every Monday morning I want to see the kids in an assembly we called the den meeting. And I shifted from this sign, which was a typical, peace or something. I don't know why this gets kids' attention. But I went from this. I went to this. Every Monday morning or any other time I needed their attention, they saw this. And this wasn't just, I love you. This was, I respect you. I see you. You are worth something. You are valuable. Welcome. It was just, every Monday morning was my opportunity to speak life into them. And I did so with a Christian perspective in a public school, because that was part of my dream, that I was going to bring Christian values without even having anyone to have to pay for it. That is what we brought. We prayed before staff meetings, not before staff meetings, but we've had the staff and I would pray different times. A staff member and I would pray before a committee meeting. We would pray. I would pray with parents if I knew I could. I would use God, and you know what? I would be Jesus Christ, and I'm not saying I'm Jesus Christ. I heard the way that came out. I would love them, and if they didn't know him, they would know it through me, even if it was a seed that was planted, and 10 years later they go, oh, I saw it. I gave hundreds of hugs a day. I held dirty hands, and I loved it. Because I was paying forward what I got, what removed the fog a little bit for me. It was amazing. The walls were talking. We literally took everything down off the walls, and we only put things up that spoke truth and life. That they are smart, they are leaders, they are capable, they are beautiful, just as you are. And it was awesome because it was year 4, and then year 5, 6, and 7, I heard were going to be sweet. Because, man, the staff and you just, did some great things. And now 5, 6, and 7 is going to be even better because you're not going to work as hard. You're going to just kind of ride that wave you guys created. And God asked me to step back. God said, it's time. It's time to resign. And I said, to go to what? Do you have another job? Like what? Do you want me to go back to teaching? You want me to do something else? I need you to stop. No, I know, God. You need me to stop, but what do you want me to do? I mean, I'm a high achiever on every personality survey. A number 1 achiever. What do you want me to do with this? It's a lot. Those 4 human beings can't. This is crazy land. What do you want me to, really? Tell me more, God. I'm not telling you more, Tara. No, I need to know more. No, honey, I'm not telling you more. I need you just to step off. No, I need to know more. I need you to tell me that my childhood made sense. I need you to tell me that the fire that burns in me and for humanity, for the moral imperative of education, that I literally cannot comprehend what you're saying to me. It makes no sense. Honey, no, it's reckless. The way you're talking to me now is pure reckless because none of that makes sense. Who am I if I'm not a principal, if I'm not an educator? Who am I then? What do you call me to do? You created this. I'm living in my calling. I'm proud of the fact that I don't do a job that is as difficult as it is. I'm living in my calling. You created this Spitfire. What do you want me to do with it? And when he's speaking to me, all I see a vision of is the Wile E. Coyote kind of like Roadrunner cliff where you don't see the bottom. I know. And he said, step off. No, it's a cliff. I will die. My identity, who I am, I don't understand why you would call me to do that. He said, honey, trust me. You will know when you take that step. You're asking me, God, to step into the fog again. I have my life under control, and you want me to let go and just take a leap of faith? Makes zero sense. And you know, the truth is, he was calling me to step back while I was teaching in this season where I was starting to have children, and he's like, maybe you should stop teaching. No. Thanks for talking, but no. No, maybe you should. No. See, Ryan and I, we didn't come from a ton, and now we don't have a ton of money, but we have like our life licked. He and I have a great marriage. We're raising our kids. You gave me this job. This is what I understand. We don't even have any toys and extravagant vacations, and you want me to not teach while I have young kids? Like, we need this money. Oh, we're paying off student loans. By the way, still haven't paid off the student loans that got me to the point I was, right? But back here, he was talking to me, little nudges, little whispers, and then it was a church service, probably much like this message. And it pierced my spirit. And I knew what he was saying to me. What is God saying to you? And I'm realizing I didn't have you do something when we started, so I'm going to do it now. I want you to clench your fists like this, tightly, everybody. Hard. And if you have nails, well, then it is going to hurt. white-knuckled grip like I had in this season. Hold on to it, because this is what we do really well. Everyone do this white-knuckled grip, because this is what we do really well. We hold on to our understanding. And I'm asking you, what is inside your hands? What are you gripping so tightly to? What's in there? Because I don't want my story to be your story. That isn't the point. God asking me to step out of education and not work and be maybe a stay-at-home mom, that isn't the story that is in your hands probably. Could be, but I don't want the enemy to get in here and there's a conviction on mamas on how we spend our time. That is not the message. Hold on tight. I'm asking, what is in this grip of yours? What are you believing that you've got licked, that you're having so under control, but you have it so under control that you know what you're doing? We're squeezing out Jesus. And it could be it could be worries of the past, hurts of the past that you've got held on very tight. And it could be fears of the future. I'm a mom of 3 boys. I could be holding on very tight. I could be holding on to their health, praying and worrying in fear of their health, their mental health, their spiritual health. Moms, are you holding very tightly to your kids? Are you holding tightly to what you think your masterpiece is and squeezing out that God has already created a masterpiece in you, moms? That we're so into comparison mode. We're so into, oh my gosh, mama looks better over there and I'm a mess. No. What are you holding? Are you even holding on to successes of things going so well you can't let them go? Because God forbid, if you let them go, all you know what will break loose. What are you holding on to where I'm holding on to my understanding? And yes, let go, and immediately you feel this release. You feel more free. So yes, God was talking to me, asking me over and over to step back. In this church service, I went from teary-eyed to bawling my eyes out because he wasn't just whispering, he was full-fledged talking through the message to my spirit, Tara, it's time to stop. And I said, who is going to love these children in my classroom? Amy is one name that came, her picture, I see her right now. 5th grade teacher, Amy, who came from horrific circumstances, was now in foster care, was now in my classroom. I loved her. She was smart. She was beautiful. She was capable. I let her know that even though she was a 2nd grade reader, I got her back. I gotcha. Who's going to take care of her? And of course, those are the services. Ryan looks over at me and goes, oh no, we're going to have a long car ride home. God's talking to her. And we did. But we didn't understand what I was hearing. And it took all the way to this time. All the way, 10 years later. So while I was in that service, I'm pretty sure this is when I had this vision. God gave me the vision of this exact talk. And this is part of the talk that I have to do because I envisioned it 10 years ago. That I would be speaking to a group about this message through my story, and I have to include this because this is what I was doing to God the whole time. Here we go. Please let me be a principal. I want to be a principal. I was having the biggest temper tantrum, begging him, I don't get it. I want to be a principal. And he says to me, beautiful daughter of mine, you have free will. You can be a principal. There are openings. You can take it. You will be an amazing principal. You will change lives. Your understanding is not my understanding. And it was that season, this season, where the scripture of trust the Lord your God with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all ways, surrender to Him, and He will make your paths straight. And He pursued me. He loved me. No matter what obstacles I threw in His way, He loved me with reckless abandon. And He's asking me to step back into the fog, to trust Him beyond my understanding, to go ahead and step off the cliff and release control of what I thought was all under control. And that was 3 years ago, to this day, pretty much. And I let control go. I found that when I stepped off, I didn't lose my identity. I found my true identity. It was great that I was a principal and I was a teacher, but I wasn't named that. He had something more. He had others that I needed to serve in ways I didn't know was to come. He tells us what we can handle when we're willing to listen to His message and let Him love us. And it takes courage. It took me a lot of courage to take that first step in pure faith. Thank you.
Slow down, take time, breathe in, He said. He'd reveal what's to come. The thoughts in His mind, always higher than mine. He revealed all to come. So take courage, my stay steadfast, my soul. He's in the waiting. He's in the waiting. Hold on to your hope as your triumph unfolds. He's never failing. He's never failing. Words lead you on. take courage, my heart. Stay steadfast, my soul. He's in the waiting. He's in the waiting. And hold on to your hope as your triumph unfolds. He's never failing. He's never failing. Sing that out again. So take courage, my heart. Stay steadfast, my soul. He's in the waiting. He's in the waiting. So hold on to your hope as your triumph unfolds. He's never failing. He's never failing. And you hold the stars, who call them each by name, will surely keep your promise to me, that I will rise in your victory. And you hold the stars, who call them each by name, will surely keep your promise to me, that I will rise in your victory. Oh, yeah. Take courage, my heart. Stay steadfast, my soul. He's in the waiting. He's in the waiting. Hold on to your hope. Watch your triumph unfold. He's never failing. He's never failing. So take courage, my heart. Stay steadfast, my soul. He's in the waiting. He's in the waiting. Hold on to your hope. Watch your triumph unfold. He's never failing. He's never failing. Take courage, my heart. Stay steadfast, my soul. He's in the waiting. He's in the waiting. And hold on to your hope as your triumph unfolds. He's never failing. He's never failing.
Lord Jesus, I pray for everyone in this room, and especially the moms today, that us mamas can transform from feeling like we have to have everything figured out and under control or in our control to make it make sense. And I pray that they can release all their worries, all their fears, all their hopes, everything. Give everything over to you. Lord Jesus, just protect and love these mamas extra special, extra today. And we love the way you love us recklessly. Thank you for following me and for loving me no matter what obstacles I threw in your way. Thank you for just loving us with all yourself, recklessly. Amen.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. 'Cause you have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life into me. 'Cause you have been been so, so kind to me. It's oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. It's oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves a 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you gave yourself away. It's oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. 'Cause you have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all. Let's go. 'Cause you have been so, so kind. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves a 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. So it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves a 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah.
My gosh, I'm just back there singing those words, and I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful that Tara was speaking truth today when she was saying, you know, he never, ever will let us go. He will pursue us no matter what our choices. He won't stop. And I'm so thankful for that. And then I'm singing those words and I'm thinking, that's how I feel about my kids. There is nothing I would not do for them. And I'm so thankful for the way that God has instilled that piece of his character in us as moms. And for the gift that that is to our children and our children's children, right? And so, moms, we just want to say that we thank you for everything that you do. We celebrate you. We love you. He loves you with an unending, reckless love. Thank you, Tara, for sharing your story today. She was pretty wonderful, wasn't she? Yeah. We're really glad you were here today. Go have an amazing day. We'll see you next week.
Happy Mother's Day.